You're watching Q6, your local news station.
Q6 Local News, 11 at 11, starts now.
A 9-year-old girl and her mom are stabbed tonight outside their Medical Lake home, stabbed in their driveway. The little girl is dead. Her mom is fighting to stay alive. Good evening, I'm Dana Haynes. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Happening tonight, a murder investigation in Medical Lake. Police tell us a 9-year-old girl has been stabbed to death and her mom was also stabbed several times. She is in surgery tonight at Deaconess Hospital. It happened right outside their home in their driveway next to their car.
We got a call from neighbors about the dog barking and some moaning. The police and ambulance arrived on scene. We have a 9-year-old female who is deceased and a mother who is in surgery in the hospital right now.
Now, there are no suspects at this time, and Spokane County Sheriff's Office is on its way with its major crime scene unit to help investigate this murder scene. The Medical Lake Police Chief says this is the first case like this in Medical Lake in his 20-year career there. Also in Medical Lake tonight, a man who is considered high risk has walked away from Eastern State Hospital and is still on the loose. His name is James Weber. He is 33 years old. He is 5'8", 207 pounds, with red hair and brown eyes. He was wearing a blue ball cap and blue coveralls and work boots. He walked away between 1:30 and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, he is considered a high risk to harm himself or others, and he is known to set fires. Now, if you've seen this man fitting this description, call Crime Check at 456-2233. Authorities believe he could still be near the hospital. Now, it is worth mentioning at this point, the Medical Lake Police Chief says he believes there is no connection between the murder tonight and this escaped patient.
This is breaking news.
We have breaking news in the Spokane Valley. Firefighters have just finished putting out flames in a vacant home. It was at the 7300 block of Rudders and Utah Road. Crews were on scene with several fire trucks from the Valley Fire Department. It started in a home that was once served as a small business and had changed hands several times. Most recently, it was a beauty shop, but had been vacant since February. No one was hurt. Firefighters watched the fire, though, very closely, worried it could jump to nearby homes. But right now, that fire has been put out. Also happening tonight, a local connection to that deadly 42-car pileup near Hermiston, Oregon this weekend. Cleanup crews continue after a huge car crash on I-84 yesterday. 5 separate crashes happening within moments of each other. 6 people died and at least 20 others were injured. Some of the people were from our area. Linda Miller of La Crosse, Washington, and Wayne Dornan Sweet of Cary, Idaho, were killed in that pileup, and Irene Vanden Drescher of Loon Lake was hurt. A hiker missing in Olympic National Park for days has been found alive. What's more, he is apparently not seriously injured. 18-year-old Eric Romano of Olympia was spotted by helicopter around 1 this afternoon. It took ground crews about 2.5 hours to reach him in very rugged, very steep terrain. The search for Romano had been going on now for 4 days. Also happening tonight, a fire in Northern California has destroyed 12 homes and forced more than 200 people to evacuate. The fire is burning out of control and with 40-mile-an-hour winds pushing it. The fire has already covered 1,000 acres of rural land south of Redding, California. Back here at home, this change in the weather has been a great help to the weary men and women on the fire lines all over the Northwest. Yesterday's winds pushed the Two Rivers fire on the Spokane Indian Reservation to 3,000 acres. And at one point, they were going door to door in Wilpinit, telling people to be ready to evacuate. But then the winds did die down, and they expect to have that fire contained by tonight. And if the weather cooperates, they could have it out by Wednesday. 4 outbuildings have been destroyed, but no homes have been damaged. But now there's a new brush fire to worry about. This one near the town of Malott, about 8 miles south of Omak. It has burned more than 1,500 acres so far, mostly fish and wildlife land. No homes are threatened. No injuries so far. About 300 firefighters are on the fire lines there. It broke out yesterday afternoon and was pushed by those gusty winds we had. They have it 40% contained. Across America tonight, Hurricane Floyd victims may get some help from Spokane nursing students. Tens of thousands of flood-stricken residents in North Carolina are registering for federal assistance. The Federal Emergency Management Agency says more than 21,000 people from 5 states have signed up. Meanwhile, students from the Intercollegiate Center for Nursing Education here in Spokane are trying to raise money for the storm victims.
It can always be here tomorrow for us. It could be someplace close by. For example, the fire that we have here in our neighborhood. So I think it'd be good to keep that in mind, and it's just sort of a reality check to say, yes, even though it is really far away, it's important to help out when we can.
The students are all donating at least $5 apiece. If you want to give, you can do so. They'll have a table set up tomorrow and Tuesday outside Sport Town at the corner of Main and Stevens in downtown Spokane. They'll be there from noon to 4 on Monday and 4 to 6 on Tuesday. People were walking all across America today. They're raising money for AIDS awareness, patient care, and education programs. This walk in Chicago drew 30,000 people. In Washington, D.C., they raised more than $1 million. All the money raised will go to programs helping people infected with the deadly disease HIV. By the year 2005, it's estimated AIDS will have infected 100 million people around the world. Over 250 firefighters were called in to battle an 8-alarm fire this morning in Harlem, New York. It started in a brownstone before spreading to a neighboring 7-story apartment building. Up to 25 firefighters and 8 other residents suffered minor injuries and exhaustion from smoke inhalation. Damage to the 2 buildings has left some 80 people without homes. They don't know what caused it. Dan Quayle is quitting the presidential race. A senior campaign official says the former vice president has been unable to keep up with GOP frontrunner George W. Bush in the fundraising department. Quayle's campaign has been on the ropes since August 14th when he finished near the back of the pack in Iowa's non-binding straw poll. Republican presidential candidate Pat Buchanan's people are talking to Ross Perot's people, talking about Buchanan switching camps and becoming the Reform Party's presidential candidate. Buchanan says he's dead serious, but no decisions yet.
I'm still a candidate for the Republican nomination, but I'm clearly thinking about going for the Reform Party nomination. No decision's been made, but it will be made, I hope, in October and announced in October.
Some Republicans want Buchanan to go. Another presidential candidate, John McCain, says Buchanan's rhetoric shows he's already left the party. In neighborhood news tonight, police are looking for the person or persons who fired at the Burger King on East 29th. An employee was in the business at the time. It was about 4 in the morning. The bullet took out a glass window and then passed through the children's area of the restaurant. Now, obviously, had it happened later in the day or even earlier that day, it could have been disastrous. Anyone with any information on the shooting is asked to give Crime Check a call. There's the number on your screen, 456-2233. Hundreds of people spent this morning running through the Manitou neighborhood, part of the battle against a deadly health problem. It's called the Fallen Leaf Run, a fundraiser for the SIDS Foundation of Washington. SIDS stands for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome.
Well, my daughter's had some medical problems, and so, when you can help benefit any type of cause related to children and birth and development, boy, I'm out there every time for it.
About 250 people ran the 4-mile race through Manitou Park. It was a good cause and a good day for a run. Now here's Christine Kleberg with our first look at the forecast.
It is going to be a chilly day tomorrow. In fact, you might want to set the slippers or the woolen socks by your bed tonight. We're expecting temperatures to dip below freezing, very cold, in the 30s. We had that isolated chance of showers, but that hasn't helped much with moderating those temperatures. The dew points are still very low, and we expect the temperatures to go down to match them. We'll see highs only in the 50s tomorrow, hopefully warmer temperatures later in the week. We'll tell you more about that, but right now here's Mark with First Sports.
All right, Christine, let's get those temperatures up. Hi, everyone. Week 3 in the NFL almost to a close. Tomorrow it's the Niners and Cardinals. This afternoon it was the Seahawks and the Steelers, and another strong showing by the defense. The newest member of the secondary, Merton Hanks. He says welcome to Seattle with the interception return for the touchdown, 23 yards. The Hawks win it big today, 29-10. Drew Bledsoe's New England Patriots have yet to lose a game this season, one of the few undefeated teams left in the league. Patriots need a strong finish to win it. They get it, 16-14. What a dramatic finish this afternoon at Brookline. The Americans make a historic comeback at the 33rd running of the Ryder Cup. American Justin Leonard seals the victory as the Team USA wins 8 out of 12 singles matches. It's their first cup since 1993. The Mariners are close to saying see it in their baseball season. Just 7 games left on the docket. Today the Mariners play their last of the year at Safeco Field. 3-2 they win it. That's your first look at sports. We'll see you in a little bit later.
Thanks, Mark. The woman couldn't get the monkey off her back, so she took the blessed thing to church. Some real monkey business still ahead on KHQ Channel 6 Local News. But first, get your tickets out. Here's tonight's winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
Good evening. Here's your Q6 Fast Alert forecast. We had isolated showers and there are just a few still to the south of us, but things are clearing out and that means it's going to get very chilly by morning. Below freezing in Spokane, 30 degrees and down to 29 in Coeur d'Alene, possibly even cooler for many areas of eastern Washington. And then for Monday, not much of a warm up, a high of 58. There goes the moon. The moon headed up into the sky as the temperatures drop dramatically tonight. You can see there it did disappear behind a few clouds and we certainly did have some roll through in the afternoon, but now things are really starting to clear out. Let's take a look at the current temperature here on the South Hill, 37 degrees. The dew point at 28, the humidity at 70%. Now we often will match those dew points and then not drop below there. That would put us at 28 degrees in the morning. We probably won't get quite down to there, but it will be very chilly. Winds are calm, barometric pressure high at 30.16. Still no precipitation, just a trace out at the airport today. But as you look at the regional satellite imagery, it certainly looks like we got a lot of rain, but it was just isolated showers. You can see spotty showers over all of eastern Washington, now pushing to the south and just a few cells to the south of us right now. Most of the rain, though, is over for us, and it is going to get very chilly out there. As you can see, the clouds starting to clear out. 30 degrees Spokane, 28 in Libby. Boy, is this a chilly start to fall. Temperatures below freezing up to the north as well. In the 30s for the central basin and 40s on the west side. A little bit of fog developing on the west side as well as in western Montana there with a little bit of shower activity happening. We'll be seeing a bit of fog developing in the morning. Not much of a warm up tomorrow. Fog burns off eventually for Seattle with a high of only 62 degrees, 58 in Seattle, 50 in Libby, and 51 in Missoula. We will see this ridge eventually, though, move in enough to bump our temperatures up a little, but not for long. Later in the week, here's your 5-day forecast. We'll see those highs in the 60s for the next couple of days. 67 is normal right now. Actually, no, it's 68. But by the time we get into the 70s, normal temperatures will be in the mid-60s, and looks like another system on the way for Friday. Boy, no messing around. Once we got to fall, it just got cold.
Bring out those sweaters. Thanks,
Yep.
Christine. We'll be right back. We have some breaking news to tell you right now. We told you a little bit earlier about a mental patient that had escaped from Eastern State Hospital. We have just been notified and told that that patient is back at the hospital. He was considered high risk. He's been found in Airway Heights, found just about an hour ago, and is back in Eastern State Hospital. A total of 5 multiple car crashes, a total of 42 vehicles. 6 people died, at least 20 others were injured and taken to the hospital. An Interstate 84, was shut down for hours. All of the crashes were within moments of each other. Tina Kim reports.
More than 24 hours later, cleanup crews continued to pick up debris from the dust storm disaster. This was the scene Saturday afternoon along Interstate 84 East near exit 199. It is the worst of 3 major accident scenes caused after a haze of dirt sat in the air for more than half an hour. When the dust settled, 6 people were dead and 42 cars were mangled.
This is probably the most significant incident of my career.
Pendleton's fire chief tallies the damage at more than $1 million. At least 75 rescuers and emergency workers responded. Chief Hopper explains his staff trains for multi-casualty events like this, but when reality hits, it's the skills of other small-town operations that also become essential.
So we got a lot of assistance from the other agencies, the Sheriff's Office, the PDs, the fire departments. We were bringing them in from Boardman, Hermiston, Pendleton, Pilot Rock, so we had a good cooperation with all the agencies.
Not only were there more than a dozen people injured, but grass fires were sparking up from the flames of crushed vehicles.
It burnt down the medium, and it burnt on the shoulder on my one side, and then it burnt the medium there, so I had fire all around me, and then the dirt blowing and couldn't see, so it was nerve-wracking out there.
Senior Trooper Dave Schuning was the first to respond to the first accident on I-84 westbound.
It could happen to anybody. It could happen to you guys going back home tonight. But we don't have the strong winds now, but it could happen any time when it's dry like this.
Schuning believes emergency teams did an effective job, but whenever double disasters strike, in this case a dust storm and a grass fire, it seems there's never enough help.
Out in this rural area where we don't have a lot of resources of one person having all the resources, yes, we have to pull together and work together.
And that was Tina Kim reporting. We now turn to sports. Mark Radall is in for John.
A lot of wreckage out at Three Rivers Stadium this afternoon. The
Really?
Hawks banging up them Steelers. We'll show you once again next in sports.
You're watching Q6 Local News 11 at 11.
Good evening and welcome back. Slow starts are starting to become the norm for the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, they've only played 2 games entering this afternoon's contest with the Steelers. In those 2 games, though, horrible starts. Today, much different. Cordell Stewart and the Steelers, horrible start for them. First play from scrimmage, Stewart back to pass. Guess what? Right in the hands of Merton Hanks. Merton Hanks, of course, coming over from the Niners, and Merton Hanks, 23 yards for the score. The Hawks leading 7-0. Steelers, second possession now, bombed. Then the Hawks' second possession. First unit not even out on the field, and another score. Special teams breakdown, and guess what? It's Charlie Rogers all the way coast to coast, 94 yards for the score. And they're not going to catch up with Mr. Rogers. No three, number 31 in the end zone. And the Hawks leading 14-0 right out of the gate. A big defensive effort, 5 picks. Also a big day for kicker Todd Peterson. 5 field goals. That's a team record, 29-10. And all are very happy.
A lot of respect in the world for that team, especially on defense, the way they played. And they kept fighting the whole game. They never stopped playing. You know, I was thinking they were going to get tired, wear down a little bit, perhaps say, man, this game's over. You know, let me bust one up in there. But
let them bust one. The night game in the NFL, New York at New England. The Pats trying to open up 3-0 to start the season. Second quarter, Drew Bledsoe getting great help from Mr. Terry Glenn. Great catch. The extension down at the 1. Bledsoe connects, 51 yards there, 233 on the day, 7-7. It went to 16-14, and they seal the win, the Patriots do, with the nice work by Ben Coates. The Patriots get the job done, up in their record to 3-0. Your final 16 New England, 14 New York. The Super Bowl champs in a major world of hurt this evening. A packed house in Tampa Bay to see those Bucks lay a licking on the Denver Broncos. Denver's defense could use some tweaking. Mike Allstott burns them for 131 yards on the afternoon, 1 touchdown. Denver running back Terrell Davis, just 53 yards on 19 carries, 13-10 Bucks, the big win. The Europeans and Americans will be talking about the battle at Brookline for years to come. Today, Ben Crenshaw's team, USA, they did the impossible this afternoon as they erased a seemingly unerasable deficit at the Ryder Cup. Great stuff there. Tiger Woods jacked. He gets the 3-2 win. 12 matches on the day. The U.S. needed 8. They would get them. Justin Leonard on 17 drills it. And Justin helping the U.S. get their first win since 1993. A huge turnaround. They're calling it the biggest ever.
But I had the best support. All of these people were positive. They never doubted one time.
Mariners fans say farewell to Safeco Field this afternoon. It will be there next summer when the team starts their first full season at the ballpark. Will Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez. Both could be gone. The Mariners wrapping up in front of the home folks, and it was Ken, or check that, Jay Buhner, Ken's big friend. A-Rod coming in to score. We're all tied up 2 apiece. Some good defense by the kid. Jim Edmonds, good wood, but Griffey, plenty of room to work. Makes the great catch. Former Cougar Robert Ramsey, strong on the hill, 2 runs off 6 hits. The Mariners win at 3-2. They'll do 4 with Texas, who wrapped up the AL West title tonight, for 4, then close down the show with Oakland for 3. A big one at the ballpark. St. Louis traveling to Cincy. Marge Schott watching big Mark McGuire. McGuire launching number 60 on the season. That one long gone to left field. Bottom 12. Guess this. Guess what? Mark McGuire upstaged a little bit. Ricky Bottalico trying to slam the door on the game. Instead, it's Pokey Reese, my favorite name in the majors.
Oh, yeah.
Nice shot right there. 3-run dinger. The Reds now 1 game within striking distance of the Mets in the wild card. 7-5. Cincinnati wins a big one. Tightening up those races, and Mark McGuire just 1 back of Sammy Sosa. So we got about 8 games left in the season. We'll see how it pans out.
All right, good. And with a name like Pokey, he's always asked,
Absolutely.
where's Gumby?
That's right.
It's always asked that. Thanks, Mark.
You bet.
We'll be right back.
You're watching Q6 Local News 11 at 11.